love this little section of road through here. You know, the date was middle of June 2013. That's the last time that Shorty was on WA soil, parked in my garage. From there she went across the east coast and hasn't been back home. But what is that now? Well, it's July now, so 4 years, let's call it. So that's 4 years that she's been travelling around Australia, or parked up predominantly so, on the east coast. So I thought it was definitely high time. We had another look at Shorty 4 years on. Bit of a walkthrough, show you what I've done to the old girl since you last saw it on DVD, which, believe it or not, was quite some time ago. So I'm going to park up down here and we'll do a bit of a walkthrough. We'll have a look at Shorty. Alright, before we get started, I just thought I'd explain something. The video you're watching right now, and all the videos that are on my YouTube channel, have all been shot, filmed, focused, edited, sound mixed, the whole lot, by me. Totally a solo effort. There's no one behind that camera over there. In fact, I'm just sitting in a paddock talking to myself right now, which is kind of weird, but I just thought I'd let you know that. There's no one behind this. It's just me having a crack, because the reason I sort of thought about this is because I follow a lot of people out there in the YouTube kind of worlds, hunters, fishermen, four-wheel drivers, and I sort of thought, well, what the heck, maybe it's time I kind of gave something back. And I didn't want to have to hire film crews and do all that kind of stuff. That's crazy. So just kind of held a camera and did it, and I thought, well, what the heck, let's just put it together and see if people like it. If they do, great. If not, no skin off my nose. So just thought I'd let you know, everything you're seeing on my YouTube channel is 100% solo, and that's what I kind of like about it. I'm doing it all myself. There's no scripts, I'm not getting paid for it. It's just me having a crack because I enjoy doing it. So just thought I'd get that off my chest so you all know what's going on. Hey, let's get stuck into Shorty. I reckon we jump straight into it. Oh, struth. That landing is going to kill me. All right, thought we'd start up the front because, well, where you normally start things, isn't it, at the beginning? This is, believe it or not, I was thinking about it before, it's actually the 5th bull bar I've had on Shorty. 2 you couldn't really call bull bars, another was cool, I liked it, dented it, got a replacement. It was the same model as this, and this one right now is brand spanking new. Nothing real fancy about it, but I just like how tough these ones are, and I kind of like the fact that I've done quite a bit of hardcore use with the old one. So I stuck this one on here. Spotties up the front. What I like about them is the way I've put them on here. It's kind of become almost a bit of a signature thing of mine. I've got that on my GU and the same on Shorty. I like having the spotlights up the top there. No, the light doesn't bother me, not one bit. Interesting fact, the winch down here, I never had a winch on any four-wheel drive up until I started working for four-wheel drive action. Of course, we use them a couple of times a day. I'll probably winch more than just about anyone I know. But that was the first time I'd ever had a winch. Now, I'll get to it in a little while, but I went around Australia for about a year and a bit in Shorty when she was pretty stock standard, didn't have a winch on it. In fact, didn't have much on it. I'll show you some photos about that. But I did take a hand winch with me. I did all the tracks I wanted to do. I did Cape York, we did parts of the Simo, all these tracks that I wanted to do, and I only got stuck a couple of times, and when I did, I worked it out, and at the times that I had to winch, I used a hand winch. So, yeah, the old winch down here. Never really had one on Shorty before I started using it for work. Other than that, up the front, there's really not that much to see. I'll explain a bit about the winch when we get inside the cab, because it's kind of something a bit unique about that some of you know, some of you don't. UHF aerial, it's pretty much it for the front. Let's head around that side there, shall we? Oh, jeebers. All right, before we move on, I just thought I'd mention tyres. 285, 75, R16s, 33s. So many times I get asked, when am I going to go back to 35s? The truth be told, I've only ever run 35s on Shorty once for 4 days, and I think we were filming a Readers Challenge in Yarwell, New South Wales. It's the only time ever in the 10 years that I've owned Shorty that I've run 35s, and they scrubbed really badly up in the guard. So if I was going to continue running 35s, I'd have to do some pretty serious guard chops, and I can't be bothered with that. So we're going to stick to these mud terrain tyres. Yes, it's all I ever run is mud terrain tyres, and I'm going to be very, very brutally honest with you. The reason I only ever run mud terrain tyres, I just like the look of them. I think they look good on four-wheel drives. As simple as that. Oh, jeez. All right, up the side here, there's not too much to see. Standard old snorkel down here, which has saved me a number of times. I've had water come right up on here in a couple of crossings. I think I may change this out for a Steno snorkel, like the one I've got on the GU. Why? Just because I like the idea of the custom airbox that it bolts to, and the fact that it just lets the old girl breathe a bit better. It did make a big difference on my GU. I reckon I might do the same on old Shorty here, with time, not just yet. These things, so you can see backwards, you'll know what they are. Got me awning here. What I love about Shorty is she's nice and small, so I can reach the zips. I can't do that with a lot of four-wheel drives. I've got to get in the milk crate. Of course, I choose on Shorty to run a rooftop tent. I really do like it up there. Now, I don't know whether you can see, you probably can. Over there, I've got a jerry can mounted up on top of the roof rack there. 25 litres of diesel. Why do I carry that? Pretty simple. Me bloody fuel gauge doesn't work, and I run out of fuel all the time. So, rather than get me fuel gauge fixed, I just chucked a jerry can of diesel up there and I run a tube from that down into my tank. And I refuel it on the side of the road if I need to. Now, back here, big old one-piece Perspex window. I really dig this. It's one of the cooler modifications I did, because of course, you used to have those slidey windows in there, but they got all rusty. I didn't really like them, couldn't open and close them. So we put this in. What I'd really like to do one day is put some latches on this and be able to lift it up to get inside. But heck, that's it for the side of the truck. Let's go around the back, eh? All right, the back of the beast. Not much to see here. Of course, I've got a bin. Whoa, whoa, don't look in there. Rear wheel, nothing terribly fancy back here. Got a light so I can do a bit of cooking and stuff. This bar, had this custom made by a mate in Perth, and it's been stuck on there for as long as I can possibly remember. Hasn't let me down. Been an absolute cracking rear bar. We'll open up the back and give you a look inside. One thing I would change, and maybe this is something you blokes out there, if you are going to put a rooftop tent on a GQ kind of assembly, or even an 80, anything that you're working at the back of your truck, have a think about how you put your rooftop tent on, because with mine it actually folds over that way. And what that means is two things, positive and negative. The positive is that this cover folds down into no man's land. I don't have to worry about it. The negative is that that folding out action over there doesn't help me in any way. If I just swiveled it around this way and had it folding out this side, think about it, the negative, well, that cover, I have to get it out of the way, otherwise it'd be hanging down here. That's not such a problem. The positive is that I'd have a roof over the top of here, so if it is raining and I've got these doors open, it's actually really quite protected in there, and you can cook and do all that kind of stuff. So if I can ever not be lazy one day, I might swing that around and just have it so it comes out this way. But that's the back of the beast. Let's open up the drawers and have a look inside, shall we? Yeah. Okay, here she is with the doors open. Let's start from this side here. This is kind of cool. This is a little drop-down table I've got here that I can do my work on. She's made out of metal and stuff, so she's good and hardy. Of course, like I said before, I've got a light up here that's controlled in cab, kind of cool. Really neat drawer install here, as you can see. This side, well, contains me cooking gear and a few little bits and pieces when it comes to toolkits. This side over here, oh man, this side's pretty filthy actually. I got all manner of bits and pieces in here. Yeah, mainly kitchen stuff. You know, lighters and cups, and anyway, that's the drawers. Either wing side has got a few bits and pieces in it. This one down here has got old snatch strap in there, and this one down here has got some tent poles and tent pegs and things like that for the rooftop tent. Now, here's a really cool trick slide. Now, when we put these drawers in, they came, or they all come, I believe, with a pretty cool kind of adaptation in that the top of the drawers acts as a fridge slide, so you don't need to buy a secondary fridge slide. But the problem I found with this was, with this particular type of fridge, I couldn't open the bloody door, because every time we'd open the door it fall back down. Then I came up with this bright idea, because I'm a thinker. If I put an old fridge slide that I had at home on top, check this out. Now I can open him a heap further, and when I open that up, the door stays open. I'm a genius. So yeah, if you've got something similar at home, have a think about it. Maybe you can do something kind of like that. Over here, this is really high tech. There's a bucket of water at the front, gravity fed to a hose, comes down to the back. I can wash my hands, fill up my pots and pans, do whatever I need to do with it. Real high tech, that bad boy. Look, gotta be honest with you, probably the greatest thing in the bag of Shorty as far as I'm concerned is this right here. This is a fridge cage that my mate Lee Coop made up for me. How you going, Lee? We did that because every time I used to pull my fridge out, shit used to fall behind my fridge, and I used to get in the back and pull it all out before I could push my fridge back. But now, doesn't matter what I do, nothing falls behind the fridge, so I can use it for storage space. I've got, that's one of those walls that goes off the side of your awning. Really cool. Keep that down there. just a good idea. If you do have that same problem, knock yourself up one of these. I keep a barbecue plate and a cutting board up on top of it there, and it really has become, because I've got sunscreen and soap, it's really become one of the best parts to the back of the 4B. All right, I think that's everything. How about we go around the driver's side? Oh, shit. All right, the only real reason why we've come around this side, because there's nothing to see here realistically, is, well, the old war wounds. Of course, I hadn't driven Shorty for a couple of years. Hadn't had it in 4-wheel drive for as long as I could remember prior to that, because of course I was driving the D-Max, which I love, but I jumped in old Shorty, brand new body on it, hadn't had it in 4-wheel drive for more than about 5 minutes. I kid you not, Sean Whale will attest to this. 5 minutes I'd had the bloody thing in 4-wheel drive. Put him on his side. I just ran out of talent. This is what happened. I dented all the back here. I put a slight dent in that door there, and you can see I've dented the front pillar here as well. Nothing up here, nothing along the top there. So I'll get that fixed. I just wanted to show you what I've done here. I will get that fixed eventually, because I got to be honest, that's a kick in the guts. I didn't mean to do that. Just ran out of talent. All right, how about we open the door, have a look in the cockpit, so to speak. All right, inside the old girl. There's a lot in here, so I'll go through it pretty quick so as not to bore you. Starting from this side down here, I've got water temp, boost gauge. That's about it for this side here in terms of the gauges. I can turn them on and off via a 12-volt switch down here. Nothing much to see up through here, except of course I've got a visor. Why is that important? Because I didn't have one for quite some time. Don't know whether you can see it, but up here I've actually got an internal light. And the reason I have that big light up there is for when we used to be filming inside a Shorty for night scenes, and of course night in time in terms of the inside of a truck, she's pretty darn black, and that's why we put that up there. So in this pod here, right here, I've got a little pyro gauge. Above that I've got the switch for my LED light on the roof. Here I've got a 12 and a 24-volt switch for my winch. Bit more on that in a minute. There, of course, is the main switch for the winch. Here, I don't know what that is. Let me try it. Oh, that's my light for the back. That's what that is. So that can go on 2 modes. Just on, which it's on right now, or I can put it on so that it turns on when I push the car into reverse. Kind of handy. There's my spotlight switches. Got an inverter switch for an inverter down the back here. That's my fridge, so I can turn my fridge on and off from inside the cab. I don't know why I wanted that. I can't remember why I thought that was a good idea, but I did at the time. You know what that is? Air compressor down there, of course. That's a separate air compressor to what I'm going to show you in a minute. And this here, of course, is the light switch for up here. Now, down here, I've got locker switches, front and rear lockers. They're down there. They've changed over time. Those switches don't indicate what they are anymore. You'll notice I no longer have an ashtray. I don't know where it went. If anybody out there knows where my ashtray is, can you let me know? Down here, of course, I've got a wireless for listening to some bits and pieces and a UHF radio. That's about it for there. Cool little modification I've got right here. That's a cup holder. That was made for a mate. Sits in the middle of a GQ, holds 2 cans, way to rock and roll. That's about it for in here, folks. There's not too much else. However, what I will do is just swing that camera around and give you a look at the rear kind of compartment here, because it does get a little bit trick and I kind of like it, so just bear with us. Oh, Jesus, that one hurt. All right. Oh, crikey. What we got in the back here is kind of cool. Got a rollover protection system. This is uncomfortable. Got a rollover protection system up here that was put in many years ago, just in case the unthinkable happens. Of course, that there is 30 litres of water, like I said, really high tech. It's gravity fed. Now, the drawer system ends right here, which meant I had all this space behind the seats, because I don't need to put my seats back that far because I'm quite short. So what we did, we made these trick little compartments here so I can keep all bits of it. I've got fuses. I got all sorts of things in here. I've got all my little oils, inox, what's that, radiator repair. I've got all sorts of things in there. So that's kind of a cool use for that there. That there, of course, is to pump up my tyres. We all know what that is. Sorry, did that just move? My bad. Down here, I'll give you a look at that, is where my 3rd battery goes. So of course, Shorty is a 24-volt import vehicle. 2 starter batteries up the front, but that's all they do. They just start the vehicle. I then run via one of those tricky little gadgets, a 3rd battery down here. So that basically takes in 24 volts, spits out 12 from the alternator at 14.2 or whatever that is, and keeps a 3rd deep cycle battery charge, which I've got down here behind the front seat. Down here I've got an inverter that goes to this little panel here so I can run cameras, keep things like that camera charged. And look, that's about it for back here. I hang a few bits and pieces up here off an old Rocky strap. I think that's my tyre gauge. I've got some duct tape there because the camera crew is always using it. What have I got down here? I've got some fuel additive. I've got my barbecue plate. My barbecue plate's down in here. And that is about it for the back of Shorty. I've got 2 of these compartments too. I only showed you one. I've got one here and and one over here too. That has got all my recovery gear in it, but because I drive a Nissan, that pretty rarely to never gets used for me, but I am going in there quite a bit to pull Toyotas out. All right, let's go and have a look under the bonnet. Oh yeah, jeez. All right, under the bonnet of Shorty. As you can see, first and foremost, what I was talking about before, 2 starter batteries, 24 volts. They're linked in series. It's a TD42. Came out from Japan as an import 24 volt vehicle, naturally aspirated. Did not have a turbo on it when I purchased it. Didn't even have anything in the way of a fancy exhaust. And I went around Australia like that, pulling a camper trailer. Let's just say that 90 kilometers an hour was a heck of a speed to be doing if I could do it. These days, she'll sit on 110, no problems at all. You'll notice I'm not running an intercooler. The reason I'm not is because my EGTs just simply do not get that high ever at all. And so why bother with something else when I simply don't need it? Maybe one day, for now not. There's a little turbo right there that runs straight through 3-inch exhaust of a custom dump out the back, and that's what gives it that nice when I start her up. Mention the winch. When we first put the winch on the old girl, we had a few issues because, of course, winch pulls a lot of power, 2 starter batteries, you couldn't really do that. So what we did, or what I didn't do, I actually drank my mate Lee's beer while Lee put that trick system up over there, which basically is 2 solenoids that let me choose between 24 volt, i.e. 2 of these things linked up, or 12 volt, the one behind the seat. In 12 volt mode, I can just run the cable in and out without any pressure under it. Flick that up to 24 when I want to play games, and she pulls like you've never seen before in 24 volt. Doesn't do anything to the winch so long as you only use 24 volt when you're under load. If you don't, you probably would burn it out, but you can't burn it out if it's under load because it just transfers all that into pulling power. And I tell you what, little Shorty, when she's in 24 volt winching mode, she really does go. As far as air filters go, a bit dodgy. I've got the old GQ pre-filter, and the pre-filter is my main filter. So I probably could do better there. Better air box, and that's what I was saying about replacing this snorkel. I might see if I can't do something about that. You know what? That's kind of it for under here. We haven't done that much. The turbo really only runs about 12 to 13 pounds of boost, not much at all. And for a little truck like that, she kind of gets up and boogies. That's all there is really to this part of the world. So there you go, that's under the engine bay. There's really not much to it, to be honest with you. Like I said, the only real difference underneath here that you probably wouldn't even pick is the fact that both these batteries start the vehicle. And that's kind of it. Oh, I'm getting too old for that. All right, so that, in a nutshell, is Shorty 2017. As you can see, not a heap has changed, but thanks to a rollover, a new body, and a few other little bits and pieces out the back just to make it a bit more livable, she is a different vehicle than what it was 4 years ago when it left WA to go over east for the 3rd time, I think it was. What's the plan now? Well, to be honest, not much. I'm enjoying driving it around the southwest WA. It's pretty much become my daily driver now, so if you do live in the southwest of WA, there's a pretty good chance you'll see it burtling around the streets. Other than that, a couple of short trips here and there, nothing too far, because I haven't got the fuel range and I can never tell what I am doing with fuel anyway, hence that thing up the top there. I'm just going to enjoy the old girl. It's been a long time between drinks, so yeah, just going to enjoy it. Shorty 2017. Let's check back in another 4 years, because I tell you what, she'll be going strong, I guarantee you. Thanks for watching, folks. Catch you later, guys.
We've gotta keep this dream